Hey, good morning, girls. Hope you're having a lovely day. It is gorgeous down here in the south. We're going to hit 70 degrees today, so yay! Anyhow, good morning. I am so excited to be here today. We are on February 1st. And what's exciting about that means that for 30 days now, you have been working on your vision, your purpose, your goal, your direction, your plan, whatever you've called it, and it's time to check in. It's all about being accountable here. Because see, we could all have these great plans out there and nobody ever say, hey, Robin, how you doing with that plan? And the next thing you know, we're at the end of the year and you haven't done anything yet. Have you ever been there before? Have you been where you've set some great plans and then hit a wall? Yeah, I have on many occasions. So we're going to have some accountability. And we're going to talk about how accountability plays in your plan. Because see, girls, we can't do everything on our own. We've got to be plugging into each other. We've got to be linking arms and being accountable. Setting goals, setting a plan, creating a vision, moving in it, trusting God, pressing in, and then turning around and saying, hey, guess what, guys, I'm struggling here, or I have a huge celebration, whatever it is. So I want to talk about that a little bit today because I just had a huge aha today, and we're going to be building, well, I'm going to meet with Pastor first, but we're going to build an accountability program as well. We're doing discipleship with the girls, but I want an accountability program. I see it happening now. I see women being discipled and raised up in their ministry and in their service, and then coming alongside having an accountability partner that's going to be able to keep them focused on what God has called them to do. How awesome is that? That's exciting to me because that means that those visions and goals that we created for the beginning of the year, girls, they can become a reality. That encourages you not to be on your own. So my question is, do you have somebody you're accountable with? Do you have someone that you can check in with and say, here's where I'm at today? Well, it's kind of what we're going to try to do with Morning Minutes. We're going to kind of bring topics coming up. And some of you have messaged stuff to me, you've emailed, you've mentioned in the comments down below, all this stuff about things that maybe you're struggling with. Things in your plan or your vision that just aren't happening the way you want it to happen. Or maybe you're like, did I even get that right? So my challenge to you, what is it that you need to be held accountable to? I want you to message me with that. Because if you're not comfortable putting in thread, that's okay, I get it. Because some things it's personal. And not everything needs to be out in the public. Okay? There's things in our lives, girls, that we need to be keeping personal and having it with one person that we're accountable with, not a larger group. But what's exciting about this is, girls, we're checking in today. Today is the first day of the second month of a new year. You've had 31 days now to try to look at your vision and your plan, start taking your steps to see where God wants to take you. What have you done with it? Now, that was interesting. That was like a gnat, ew, inside my house. Ah! So, what steps are you taking to move in that direction? Have you taken any? What is hanging you up? What are you stuck on? But first, I want to give you two scriptures that kind of justifies, quantifies, whatever you want to call it, why we need accountability. And it's, because the Bible said so. So it's not because Miss Robin says, let's go do this. It's because God wants us to be accountable. God didn't intend for you to do all that alone. See, that's why we look at relationships in the Bible. They are so predominantly and repeated in front of us as an example. And it goes all the way back to Adam and Eve. Because see, God knew He created a relational relationships, get it? being when he created man. And he knew it wasn't good for man to be alone, so he created woman from the rib bone of Adam. Okay, so there's that whole story there. That's where relationships start. That's where accountability starts. Because, see, Adam didn't do everything on his own. He had Eve there that held his arms up, that helped him accomplish it. And yeah, okay, they fell in the garden. I get that. And we could argue back and forth, because my husband and I do all the time. I say it's Adam's fault, because Adam wasn't there to take care of his wife at the moment the serpent tempted her with the apple. And then he says it's Eve's fault because Eve got the apple. So we can go on and on about that. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is, it was the way it was meant to be. It's the way God had it set up. It's all good. But the blessing in it all is that we're not in the Old Testament times anymore. We're in a new covenant where Jesus Christ has shed his blood on the cross for you and I, so we could have eternal life and go directly before the throne and ask God for the help. Ask God to reveal who to be accountable with. Ask God what areas to be accountable. Because see, there might be multiple accountability people in your life. I know for me, before I got married, I had, somebody that I was accountable with for a long time, 11 years. And pretty much she knew everything about me, everything about my life, she knew. But when it came to the relationship, when I met Greg, somebody else became that person. Now, this is where, girls, we all need to be real careful, because what happened in that whole situation is the person I was accountable with for 11 years saw it as a competition, a controlling thing, because this other person was in my life for accountability in the relationship area. Okay? What ended up happening is the person that I had been accountable with for 11 years was in a high position in the church. And her comment to me was, you walk away from him or leave the church. Well, after praying about it, I walked away from that church. Because I believe God brought me Greg in a way that I didn't expect. And no one person is going to control my life that much. See, because I came from abuse. So to have somebody have that much control and abuse that control was out of line. What's really cool, though, is over a couple of years of time, God healed my heart towards that whole situation. I forgave her for her behavior. And I could go into whole kinds of details on what happened. But it was somebody who abused power that they had to control people. And you don't do that. So I sent her a letter saying that I forgave her and that I apologized for just walking away. And her response back, and this is where it gets sad sometimes, well, it's about time you apologize to me. And I thought about it and I went, that's on her, because God healed my heart. And that's all that matters. Now, why did she want me to walk away? And that's where I started questioning, the motives behind her. And there was no reason why, except for the fact I want somebody else for the accountability in the relationship. So see, that's where we get the little high school games going on in ministry, where we need to keep them out, right? So we see these high school games happening where somebody wants to compete with your ministry, where somebody wants to belittle you or snub you because you're moving forward and they're not. Girls, keep your focus. Meet with your accountability person and keep that focus on that goal. Don't look at all this stuff over here. Because you know what? If I would have looked at that stuff over there, I would have never married Greg. If I would have got caught up in pleasing the person, and that's hard for me because I want to make everybody happy. That's why it's so hard sometimes on Morning Minutes when our topic isn't that is going to be pleasant for some. Because there's topics that we have, you girls know that, where it might be quite uncomfortable. or convicting or just really piss somebody off, right? So here's the deal. We've got to be accountable. We've got to find ways to make our goals and our visions happen. You know, unless God's told you, Robin, don't do that now, I've changed my mind, you need to stay focused on that end result. Because see, we run the race to the finish line and we run the race to win. But even if we're not going to win, we finish. Okay? But let's go backwards, really back, and we're going to take a look at two scriptures here where we're going to talk about that accountability, mentoring, discipling, that whole component right there, okay? Two of the verses, and there's so many more, okay? So don't get me wrong. But 1 Peter 5:5. In the same way, you who are younger, be subject to the elders, and all of you clothe yourselves in humility towards one another, because God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. Now, they also in Titus, it talks about the women who are older to train up or mentor the women that are younger. And I want to clarify what it means by younger and elder, okay? What that means is younger in the Lord and older in the Lord. It's not your age, it's your relationship with Christ. So, for example, I'm 52, okay? I've been saved for 32 years, right? And maybe I meet a woman that's 70 and she just got saved. I would be the elder in that situation because it's older in the Lord. So hopefully that helps you understand that whole concept in the Bible. When it's talking about you training up, you mentoring, you know, the younger, it's talking about in the Lord, okay? 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore encourage one another and build each other up just as you are in fact doing. So we're supposed to be building each other up. So when we come into a check-in like this, we've hit the end of a month, we've had a plan, we've had a vision, we've had a goal, we're moving. Okay, now we stop and we evaluate it. And this is why I'm coming to you today. I'm here to encourage you and build you up, according to 1 Thessalonians 5:11, right? So what that means is we sit there and look at, okay, what was the plan for January? How did you do that? How did you move through that? Did you achieve the goals that you set out to do? Now, sometimes we set goals bigger than we can do, and that's okay. Do not think you failed just because you didn't achieve your goals. You know, where failure happens is when you don't even try. So, my question to you, you had this vision and this plan for January. What did you do with it? Did you just put it on the back counter? You know, like I've got, my vision board is back here, right? Right there. I have to find it on the camera, right? Because it's all backwards. So, did you take steps towards any of those goals that you had? Did you give it everything you could at the moment to step forward and move in those goals? It's either a yes or a no. There's no gray matter in the middle. Well, kind of, but no. Either you took a step forward or you took a step backwards. It's one or the other. So now determine what adjustments need to be made for February to actually take a step. And sometimes, girls, what stops us is our fear. We're afraid to step into some of these things that we put down because we're afraid we won't achieve them. Don't let fear paralyze you, girls. Fear should motivate you. Fear should take you from a point of paralyzed and standing to moving fast forward because you want to get out of that place. And see, that's what I see. When I hit these walls of fear or these hurdles that may come my way, I tend to focus a little harder on what needs to be done because I don't like staying in that place. So what you do is you focus and you move and you get a plan to get through the fear. Because remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. The enemy is going to trick you, girls. Don't forget, he knows your plan too. He knows the Word of God, and he knows how to use them both against you. So what are you going to do this month? What is your plan? What direction are you going to have? What do you need to revise in the plan from January? What do you need to add in the month of February? Do you need to adjust that goal a little bit? You know, maybe the goal was to lose 5 pounds a month, if that was in your plan, and you only lost 3. Well, celebrate the 3. Don't sell yourself short. Celebrate the 3, and then adjust the plan. Maybe your body, health-wise, because we want to lose the weight, if that was your goal, healthy is a good weight to lose each month is 3. Adjust your goal. Or give it another shot. Maybe you totally blew it on a lot of the days. You know, maybe your goal was to drink the water. I failed. Oh, I failed miserably in January. I just forgot. I put a glass on my desk, and at the end of the day, that glass is still there. And it's not because I don't want the water, I just forget. So how do I change that? I've got to identify ways to change it. Some people say, set an alarm so it goes off. No, I'll just dismiss the alarm. You know, when you get focused on things. But we've got to remember to stop and also take care of ourselves during the focus. So what was on your list in January that did not get done? What was on your goals and your vision that you haven't even touched? Let's take those things and let's go before God today and ask him, how does it play out for the month of February? February is a shorter month, girls, so we want to make sure, are we on a leap year? Nope, 28 days. Okay, so 28 days in February. Shorter month, 2 days shorter than most, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to be less productive. Because see, there's something about a shorter month that sometimes we move faster. So what is the plan for February? What are you going to do to build those areas of your life that was in your vision and plan for January? What in your personal life, in your ministry, in your business, your relationship, your family, were on the plate for January? Celebrate the ones you accomplished. Enjoy the victory. And celebrate in a way that you want. Sometimes it's just a hoot and holler and a dance. Maybe it's going out and getting a great cup of coffee. You know, I don't know that I'd go shopping every month, but if that's what your budget allows, then do that. Or if you need to because nothing fits anymore. Whatever, that budget is, or that goal is that you achieve, celebrate it. Then let's take a look at the ones you did not even attempt and ask yourself why. Were you afraid? Did you run out of time? Did you not be focused? Why didn't you even attempt those goals? Because that's going to help you for this month. And I know sometimes those are hard questions to ask because you don't want to answer it. Lord knows I don't want to look at my goals and say, well, I didn't achieve it because I didn't even try. Because then the enemy says you failed. And I'm here to tell you, that's not what God's telling you. See, because God just wants us to get better and better each month, each day, each minute. He wants us to thrive as women of God. But we can only do that if we have a vision and a goal. If we create balance in our mind, body, and spirit. See, we have to take action in moving towards these amazing blessings God has for us. We can't just sit on that sofa, girls, with the bonbons and remote and watch Peyton Place. And I don't think that's on anymore. I don't even know what's on anymore in the daytime soaps. Do they even have them? I don't know. Maybe I'll look today to see if they even have them. Because I haven't watched soaps in probably 25 years. So I have no idea. So anyhow, what happened last month? Let's evaluate it today. Let's look at this month's plan and let's make adjustments that we need. Because you can do anything that you set your mind and heart to. And you're like, oh, Robin, I don't know. Well, yeah, you can, because the Bible tells us so. Remember, I'm not sharing Robin's wisdom. I'm sharing what the Bible tells me because I believe the Bible to be truth. The Bible says there is nothing I cannot do through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. So that tells me if I'm in the will of God, there is nothing I can't do. Through faith, prayer, persistency, accountability, and action. Because see, the other thing I know about the Bible, and we'll wrap it up because I think I went a little bit long today. The other thing I know about the Bible is a book of action. If you look at everything in there, it's about moving forward and moving forward now. It's not about sitting on the sofa with the remote. You know, that's like the story of, I had someone tell me one day, you know, they had lost their job, and actually it was a roommate many, many years ago, probably 30 years ago. And she says to me, I got fired yesterday. I said, okay, well, what are you doing today? Because I'm like, you got to pay your half the rent, right? I'm not paying it all. And she says, well, I'm going to just sit here and wait for a job to come. And of course, my brain doesn't know how to process those words. And I said, how is a job going to come if you haven't actively went out to seek it? Oh, it just will. Somebody will call me and give me a job. A week later, I booted her out of the apartment because she was still sitting on the sofa with the remote and a bag of potato chips waiting for someone to give her a job. Yet she had never sought the job in the first place. So what are you doing? What actions are you taking? The only place the Bible tells us to stop and be still is to know He is God. The rest of the Bible was action. We look at every faith leader in the Bible. We look at every woman in the Bible. They were actively pursuing the things that God called them to do. Are you actively pursuing what God has called you to do in your life, in your vision? Or are you on the sofa with the bag of chips, waiting for it to just happen? All right, girls, great check-in. I hope you learned something this morning and you're excited about February. I am. I can't wait. We are getting closer to our Thrive Conference, and we've got ticket sales coming in. So if you don't have your ticket yet and you're coming, you need to get that ticket, because once we sell out, we sell out, because we can only fit so many in the room. I know my husband said, well, we'll just line the foyer with chairs and we'll let them watch it on the TV there. And I thought, it's about the experience inside. We want women's lives to be changed in that room. Our topics are going to be amazing. Our speaker, I will be taking the stage, and then somebody else that we brought in is dynamic. I love her. Her and I just hit it off really well in a couple of interviews. And the worship that's going to be there, it's just going to be a great day. So if you haven't got a ticket and you're anywhere near Rock Hill, South Carolina, you want to grab a ticket, okay? And you can find it at lakewoodfamily.com/thrive, THRIVE, -2017, Thrive-2017. It's March 18th from 10 to 4. You get a t-shirt, you get a Bible study book from the guest speaker that's coming out, you get a catered lunch. It's going to be awesome. Our set is being built now as we're talking, and just the worship team that's going to be providing the worship is already practicing. It's going to be off the charts. I am so excited about it. We have over 300 women planned to be there. Are you coming to join us? I'd love to have you if you can. You can go to lakewoodfamily.com/thrive-2017 and get your ticket. But I'm excited they're coming in. All right, you've got your marching orders. You've got your challenge for today. If you jumped on here at the end, make sure you start over, because we're talking about checking in over the past month. All right? So love you girls. Have an amazing day. And be honest about your lists and your goals. That's between you and God. But time to get accountable and take action, okay? All right, love you girls. Bye.